Hello, my name is Irene Hernandez, and I wanted to share my responses for the discussion. And I will start with the first one about students being bilingual in special needs. And I thought that was very interesting when I was watching the video, how oftentimes, I guess, there's a misconception that students who are having difficulties with literacy or language development would be able to learn a second language. And I thought it was extremely interesting how the discussion was at some point, basically, educators are told do not encourage second language. Families are told not to encourage second language, encourage second language learning. So I thought that was fascinating how she stated that it's not necessarily true. So if you can learn one language, certainly a child can learn a second language, and they can in fact be bilingual. So that whole discussion actually was fascinating to me. I actually watched it again, and it's interesting because I actually at one point worked as a at-risk coordinator that identified students with special needs. And I had several students that were referred for either a speech or learning disability that were bilingual. And quite frankly, I honestly never discouraged the use of bilingual education to the parent or to the teacher. I just honestly accepted as a fact as these children are bilingual. And so if we get them services and they do qualify, then the services should be provided in both languages. But of course, that was my opinion, and I had to follow the district guidelines. And most of the time, there was not support in a second language. And as for the statistics regarding education, I also thought that was interesting how we had most impairments were in maybe a specific learning disability. And that would be, since I've worked in that system again, that would be they had difficulty in reading or in math in our content area. And then I also thought it was interesting that speech was the other one, which is exactly the same things that we were always either looking for or spotting. I shouldn't say looking for, but we were spotting. And on occasion, we had maybe one or two students that were autistic. And so that was not something that was very common to have an autistic student that was bilingual, but it did happen, which leads to, again, the discussion that even autistic children can be bilingual and learn a second language. Something else that I thought I noted that was interesting information was that bilingual children are overly represented among the special education population. And it's often thought that this overrepresentation is probably due to the biased assessment practices. This then leads into some of the effective strategies that are suggested to advocate for the educational and social equality of English language learners. And those are research-based, would probably be the top of the list. Anything that's research-based and sound in research, of course, would be the top strategy suggested. And then, of course, ensuring fair assessment of the students in these special education programs. And then whether the student is gifted or needs special education services, then strategies from there would branch out. And some of the special education services that I know that we had encouraged, or not encouraged, but suggested for our special needs population was the use of dictionaries, translation, rich language discussions, rich language vocabulary. Those are also important strategies. And I believe that I have covered all of the questions that we were asked for this particular discussion. I appreciate you taking time out to listen to my information, my summary, and then I hope something resonated with you as well as it did with me when I was going over all this information myself. Thank you.